Hello and welcome to my channel. Today's video we are going to be making this cute little Dracula or vampire. He is what I consider a no-sew body pattern. So that means we are going to start by doing the little arms, and then we'll work on the legs and work our way up, attach the arms, and then we'll work on the body, add the eyes, stuff, and clothes. And then we'll have to attach the ears, the little ruffle, and then any little bits of embroidering that we have to do. For this video, I will be using a number 4 medium weight yarn, a 4.25 millimeter hook, and 12 millimeter safety eyes. This is a crochet along, so I will be doing every stitch with you. And I am also providing a drop down at the top of the screen with the pattern instructions for the first 30 seconds of every row for you to follow along with. If you enjoy this video, please hit the subscribe button and click that bell. Not only does that help me out, but you'll also be notified every time I load a new video, as well as any likes, shares, and comments are always appreciated. And don't forget to check down in the description below the video where I'll have all the yarn types, colors, and any info on the hooks and eyes, and links to my Facebook craft page if you'd like to share anything you've made with me. Okay, I think that's everything. So grab your yarn and let's get started. All right, we're going to begin with the arms. So grab your skin color and you can begin any way you prefer as long as you have the same amount of stitches in row 1. I'm going to be making a knot with a loop on the end as if I was going to be making a chain. Insert my hook, grab my yarn, chain 1, and remember that does not count as a stitch, that just attaches our yarn to our loop. And for row 1, going over top of the tail, we are going to do 6 single crochets into the loop. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then pull that tail if you need to close the hole. Grab a stitch marker if you're using one, and for row 2 we are going to do 6 increases, so that's 2 single crochets in every stitch all the way around for a total of 12. So increase 1 and 2, increase 3 and 4, increase 5 and 6, increase 7 and 8, increase 9 and 10, and our last increase 11 and 12. Row 3, we are going to do 12 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Row 4, 12 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We are going to do what I call a double crochet cluster of 3 and then 11 single crochets all the way around. So for your cluster, you're going to yarn over, go in your next stitch, grab your yarn and pull up, grab your yarn and go through the first 2 loops on your hook. So that's once, yarn over, in that same stitch, grab your yarn and pull up, grab your yarn and go through the first 2 loops on your hook. That's twice. One more time, yarn over, in that same stitch, grab your yarn and pull up, grab your yarn and go through the first 2 loops on your hook. That's 3 times. And now you're going to grab your yarn and you're going to go through all the loops on your hook. And then you'll just give that a little bit of a pull. And now we have 11 single crochets to go around, but I'm going to count this as 1 and my first single crochet as 2. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Row 6, we are going to do 1 single crochet, 1 decrease, repeat that all the way around for a total of 8. So single crochet, 1, decrease for 2, and repeat that around. 3, decrease for 4, 5, decrease for 6, 7, and our last decrease, we're going to grab our yarn and pull up to, and then we're going to leave those 3 loops on the hook, and we're going to cut our skin color and we are going to grab our sleeve color. So I'm using white. Then we're just going to tie our new color to our old color nice and tight, as close to the hook as you can, 2 or 3 times. And then you're going to grab that new color and you're going to pull it through your last decrease to finish off that stitch. Now for row 7, we are just going to do 8 single crochets all the way around. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I'm just going to tuck my other ends in so they're out of my way. And our next row, we're going to be going in the back loops. So if you've never gone in the back loops before, normally we go underneath and we catch both of those V's. So when we're going in the back loops, we're going to go down between the 2 V's and out the back. And this is going to leave a row of front loops so that we can put the ruffle on the arms at the end. All right, so for row 8, we are going to do 8 single crochets into the back loops. So down through the middle of the V and out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whoopsie, 6, 7, and our last one, 8. And then you should have a ridge of front loops here that we will come back to later on for the frill. Rows 9 to 15 are just going to be 8 single crochets all the way around, and I'm going to do that consecutively. So that's 7 rows of 8. 7 times 8 is 56. So I'm going to do 56 single crochets and then just flip my marker every time I hit a set of 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and I'm going to flip my marker but keep on counting. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, flip the marker but keep on counting, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, flipping my marker, keep on counting, 25, 26, 27, 28, whoops, 29, 30, 31, 32, flipping my marker, keep on counting, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, flipping my marker, keep on counting, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, flipping my marker, keep on counting, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56. So that's the end of our arm. So you're just going to take a little bit up. We're going to put the ruffle on first before we close and stuff. But to make it a little easier, we're going to cut our yarn. But before we do, we need to have 3 single crochets across when we close it. And I've tested it out before, and a single crochet width is about the length of wrapping around my finger once. So I'm going to take 2 fingers and I'm going to wrap it around 3 times for each single crochet that I'm going to do after, and then I'm going to leave myself a bit of a tail just so you have enough to finish it off. And we can take our piece that we just cut, unless you're making the ruffle a different color. Leave yourself a bit of a tail, and then we're going to make a knot with a loop on the end. So I folded my yarn over, wrap it around my finger. I'm going to bring that loop down, around, and through, and just pinch that top a bit and slide the knot up. You want your hook just to be able to fit in there. And now you're going to go back into the loops. You want your hand facing up so the right side of the stitches are showing. I fold mine so my thumb is up, which is going to be the front that you see, and I'm going to start in the back. So you want your hand up and your thumb on the opposite side that you start. So you're going to insert your hook into that front loop that you left behind. Insert your yarn or your hook into your yarn. You're going to pull that through just enough, leaving the knot on one side and your loop on the other, and you're just going to make one chain. Now you've attached your yarn to that first loop, and we're going to put 4 single crochets in every one of those front loops that we left. I did try doing half double crochets and double crochets, and I ended up sticking with a single, but you can experiment and try any size you want. So 4 single crochets into that first front loop. 1, 2, 3, 4. And 4 single crochets into that next front loop. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we're just going to continue that all the way around. So next loop, 1, 2, 3, 4. Next loop, 1, 2, 3, 4. And don't worry if you're struggling with this part. Keep in mind this is about the 6th one I've done. 1, 2, 3, 4. Next loop, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I'm going across my row here. Make sure you catch every stitch. 4 single crochets, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I think I'm in my last one here. 4 single crochets, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you're just going to slip stitch into the next stitch. Remember you did a chain 1 here, so you don't want to go in there. You want to go up onto the top of your first single crochet, slip stitch, and then tie off with a bit of a tail. So it should look like this now. Now you're going to grab your darning needle, and you're going to take the end that you just finished off on at the outside of your ruffle. Thread that on. And I'm not too fussy about weaving this side in. I just want it to come down to here so that I can tie that to my starting tail. So I'm just going to come down a few stitches on the bottom side, so closest to the hand side. Then I'm just going to tie those 2 strings together. So that's my beginning tail and my ending tail, and not too tight because you don't want to bring this back ruffle down. You want, and then once you have it, we'll just thread on our other ends. And then we are going to just put that inside somewhere. I go kind of in between where I started my front loop, back loops, and I'm just going to come up through the top. Careful not to catch any of your stitches as you go. And then we'll just cut those ends off. Make sure you're cutting the right ends. You don't want to cut your arm strings. And then now grab your stuffing. I'm going to take this out. All right, so we just want a little bit of stuffing. We want to have the hand fairly firm, and then we want the arm to be not stuffed too much so that it doesn't stick straight out, and that gives room for it to be under the cape a little bit. So I'm just using my scissors to get that down inside, all the way to the end. And I just kind of fill that up, kind of like a little ball. Don't overstuff it. You don't want to see your stitches or your stuffing through your stitches. And then take your last little bit and just kind of evenly spread it out through the arm. And I actually think I have enough there already, so I'm just going to take a little bit off. There we go. So the hand is quite firm, and then the arm is quite squishy. I can flatten it if I want. And when you're happy with how much stuffing you have, you're going to insert your hook back in. And we're going to do 3 single crochets across. So we're going to start in our next stitch. And then we're going to go in our last stitch on the other side. So that's 1. So through in the next stitch, through the front and the back, that's 2. And then in the last stitch, front and back, that's 3. And then you can tie that off. Now, if you have just finished your first arm, I will put a screenshot in the next frame with a timestamp so you can go back and do your second arm. And if you're done your second arm, just keep on watching and we will continue on to the next part. Just a quick little note before we start the legs. I'm going to be doing them in white instead of black, so they're a little easier to see. And I also didn't give him shoes, so if you want to give him shoes, you're going to do rows 1 to 6 in your shoe color, and then you're going to do rows 7 to 12 in the pant color. All right, so for the legs, you can begin any way you prefer, as long as you have the same amount of stitches in row 1. I'll be making my knot with the loop on the end, like I was going to make a chain. Insert your hook, grab the yarn, chain 1. Remember, that does not count as a stitch. That just attaches our yarn to our loop. And for row 1, going over top of your tail, we are going to do 6 single crochets into the loop. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then pull that tail if you need to close that hole. Grab a stitch marker if you're using one, and for row 2 we are going to do 6 increases, so that's 2 single crochets in every stitch all the way around for a total of 12. So increase 1 and 2, increase 3 and 4, increase 5 and 6, increase 7 and 8, increase 9 and 10, and our last increase 11 and 12. Row 3, we're going to be doing 1 single crochet, 1 increase, repeat that all the way around for a total of 12. So 1 single crochet, increase for 2 and 3, and repeat that around. 4, increase, 5 and 6, 7, increase, 8 and 9, 10, increase, 11 and 12, 13, increase, 14 and 15, 16, and our last increase, 17 and 18. Now we're going to go in the back loop for the next row. So remember, you're going to be going down in between the V's and out the back loop. So for row 4 in the back loop, 18 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Row 5, we're just going to do 18 single crochets all the way around, and we're going back to normal way of going under the V's. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Row 6, we are going to do 1 single crochet, 1 decrease, repeat that all the way around for a total of 12. So 1 decrease for 2, 3, decrease for 4, 5, decrease for 6, 7, decrease for 8, 9, decrease for 10, 11, and our last decrease for 12. Rows 7 to 12 are just going to be 12 single crochets all the way around, and again I'll do those consecutively. So that's 6 rows of 12. 6 times 12 is 72, so I'm going to do 72 single crochets and then just flip my marker every time I hit a set of 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, flip your marker, keep on counting, 13, 14, 15, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, flip the marker, keep on counting, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, flip your marker, keep on counting, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, flip your marker, keep on counting, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, flip your marker, keep on counting, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, and 72. I'm going to take my marker out. Now, if you're just finishing your first leg only, you're going to slip stitch into that next stitch. You're going to tie that off, and then you are going to cut your string, leaving a little bit of a tail, so we can tie the hole that we get when we put the two legs together. And if you are on your second leg, don't cut this string, because we're going to use this to join the legs. And in the next screenshot, I am going to throw in a timestamp so you can go back and do your second leg if you haven't already. And if you have, just keep on watching and we will go on to the next part. Okay, now we're going to join the two legs. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab our second leg and we want to bring it over to the other side. And we want to go into that stitch just under where we tied off, where that knot is. So we'll just stick our hook in there. So grab our yarn. And we want to do 12 single crochets around the first leg and 12 single crochets around the second leg. So we're under that knot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And don't worry about what's left here. That's where we're going to sew the legs closed together. Now we're going to go into our other leg. We'll find our last stitch, so that's right there. And we're going to go in the next stitch after that, and we're going to do 12 single crochets around on this side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Whoops. So that should give us 24 stitches in total. Now let's get our stitch marker back in there. Now for row 14, we need to make sure we have 24 single crochets around. So if you did something off in the last row and you didn't get 24, we're going to fix it in this row by decreasing or increasing on the last stitch at the end of the round. So make sure you're going in the next stitch, and we're going to do 24 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and 24. And this is where you'll increase or decrease to make sure you have 24 single crochets. Row 15, you are going to do 3 single crochets, 1 increase, repeat that all the way around for a total of 30. So 1, 2, 3, and an increase, 4 and 5, and repeat that around. 6, 7, 8, and an increase, 9 and 10, 11, 12, 13, and an increase, 14 and 15, 16, 17, oops, 18, and an increase, 19 and 20, 21, 22, 23, and an increase, 24 and 25, 26, 27, 28, and our last increase, 29 and 30. Row 16, we are going to do 30 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. And row 17, 30 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, and now on our 30th one, we're going to change colors to our shirt color. So I'm going to cut that off and grab my shirt color. And then you're just going to tie it on again, nice and tight, as close as to the hook as you can, 2 or 3 times. So just like that. And then you'll pull that through to finish off that last stitch. Now we're going to sew up that little hole there in between the legs before we go any further. So grab your darning needle. And you want to find that tail from your first leg. Thread that on. And all you're going to do is go back and forth. It doesn't matter which way, as far as I've been able to tell. You're just going to grab a stitch on each side and then just keep going back and forth. Sometimes I'll grab 2 if it looks like it's going to leave a hole, or stretch that. So like right here, if I pull on that, I'm going to make a hole. So then I would just come and grab another piece just right close to it. So just like this. And just do that a few times, back and forth, till you feel like you have the hole closed. I'm going to grab some more up here. And then just push your finger in between there and you'll kind of see where you need to, sorry, strings everywhere. So I might put one more to close that little spot right there, but I probably don't need to. I'm just going to come around and grab a couple pieces. Maybe that one. And then once you're happy with how much you've done there, then you're just going to grab a stitch and tie a knot. Nice and close to wherever you just went through. I'm just going to do once. You can do as many times as you want. And then I cut mine, but you could tuck yours down into the leg if you want. And then now I'm going to switch back over to the black. And then we'll continue on with the rest. All right, let's put our hook back in. And before we get going on the next row, I'm just going to mention that I don't stuff mine till we're almost at the very end. So if you need to add stuffing before that, make sure from now on you are stuffing as you go. All right, so for row 18, we're going to do 30 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. The next row we're going to be going in the front loop, so this time we'll be going underneath that front loop and coming up between the V's, and it's very important that you do this front loop step, because the next row we're going to be going down and out the back loops. All right, so for row 19, 30 single crochets all the way around in the front loops. So down and up through that V. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Now we're just going to do a slip stitch in that next stitch and then chain 1. And now we're going to flip that down so that we can see those back loops that we just created. And for row 20 now, we are going to go in the back loops of our previous row. So we got to get down into this line of loops right here. 30 single crochets. 1, 2, and it helps if you fold that ridge down. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, and 30. Row 21, we are going to be doing 30 single crochets all the way around, and remember you have a chain 1 here, so you want to make sure you're up into this next stitch, your first single crochet, and 30 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Row 22, we are going to do 30 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Row 23, we're going to do 3 single crochets, 1 decrease, repeat that all the way around for a total of 24. 1, 2, 3, and a decrease for 4. And repeat that around. 5, 6, 7, decrease for 8, 9, 10, 11, decrease for 12, 13, 14, 15, decrease for 16, 17, 18, 19, decrease for 20, 21, 22, 23, and our last decrease for 24. Row 24, 24 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Row 25, 24 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Row 26, 24 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Row 27, we are going to do 2 single crochets, 1 decrease, repeat that all the way around for a total of 18. 1, 2, and a decrease for 3, 4, 5, and a decrease for 6, 7, 8, and a decrease for 9, 10, 11, and a decrease for 12, 13, 14, and a decrease for 15, 16, 17, and our last decrease for 18. We're going to be adding the arms next, so get those ready. All right. Now remember, if you are doing this left-handed, you may be doing this row backwards. Row 28, arm row, we're going to start off with 5 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then you're going to grab one of your arms, and remembering that this is the back, this is the front. You want to have your arm strings and your thumbs pointing to the front. You're going to go into the arm, into the next stitch of the body, and we're going to do 3 single crochets across. So that's 1 into the arm, into the next stitch of the body, that's 2 into the arm, and then the next stitch of the body, that's 3. Then we're going to do 6 single crochets across, and make sure you're in the next stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and now you're going to grab your other arm, again remembering you want the strings and the thumbs facing the front, and you're going to do 3 single crochets across the arm and the next stitch of the body. 1, 2, 3. Then you should have 1 single crochet left, but we're also going to be changing color on this one. So you're going to insert your hook, grab your yarn, and pull up and leave those 2 loops on your hook. And we're going to cut the shirt color. And then we are going to tie on our skin color for the face. So nice and tight, as close to the hook as you can get it. Two or 3 times. Remember also, stuff as you go if you need to. And then we are just gonna pull that through to finish off that last stitch. Okay, row 29, we are going to do 18 increases all the way around for a total of 36. So increase 1 and 2, increase 3 and 4, increase 5 and 6, increase 7 and 8, increase 9 and 10, increase 11 and 12, increase 13 and 14, increase 15 and 16, and as you're going around, remember to keep these strings on the outside because we'll need them later. Increase 17 and 18, increase, 19 and 20, increase, 21 and 22, increase, 23 and 24, increase, 25, 26, increase, 27, 28, increase, 29 and 30, increase, 31 and 32, increase, 33 and 34, and our last increase, 35 and 36. Row 30, we are going to do 5 single crochets, 1 increase, repeat that all the way around for a total of 42. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and an increase, 6 and 7, and repeat that around. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and an increase, 13 and 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and an increase, 20 and 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, and an increase, 27 and 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, and an increase, 34 and 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, and an increase, 41 and 42. Row 31, 42 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42. Row 32, 42 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42. Row 33, 42 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, row 34, 42 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42. Row 35, 42 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42. Row 36, 42 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42. Row 37, 42 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42. Row 38, 42 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42. Row 39, 42 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, and on our 42nd stitch we're going to stop right there because we're going to tie on our hair color now. So let's cut our yarn and then we'll tie on our new color nice and tight, as close as to the hook as you can get it, 2 or 3 times. And then you're going to grab that color and pull it through to finish off that last stitch. All right, now we're going to put the eyes on and we'll do a little bit of stuffing if we need to. All right, let's get our eyes handy. And then I'm going to grab my darning needle and I'm going to mark out the placement for my eyes. So you want to flatten out your guy so you can kind of use your legs and your arms as center. I think he's pretty good right the way he is. And we're going to count down 4 rows. So this first row that we just finished, that's row 1, 2, 3, 4. And then right in between rows 4 and 5, just put your pin to mark your row. And then just double check how centered you are. And then I like to grab a pin. I'm going to go right in the stitch that I think is center. And I think I'm close, so I'm going to go in this stitch right here. So I have a hole on each side and my pin is in a stitch. Have a look, just kind of double check. If you feel like you're centered, then grab your first eye. And we are going to go 4 holes over from the pin. So your pin is in a stitch. You're going to count that first hole as 1, 2, 3, 4, and you're going to go in that 4th hole. Then you're going to do the same thing on the other side. That hole right beside the pin, 1, 2, 3, 4, and into that 4th hole. Then just have another look. Sometimes you got to move them over 1 hole each. Sometimes they're good, and I think I'm happy with where they are, so I'm going to put my backs on. This is a good place to add some stuffing if you need to, but I'm still going to wait a little bit longer till I get a little closer to the end. All right, let's get our hook back in now. And for row 40, we are going to do 42 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42. Row 41, we are going to do 5 single crochets, 1 decrease. Repeat that all the way around for a total of 36. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and a decrease for 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and a decrease for 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and a decrease for 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and a decrease for 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, and a decrease for 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, and a decrease for 36. Row 42, we are going to do 4 single crochets, 1 decrease. Repeat that all the way around for a total of 30. 1, 2, 3, 4, and a decrease for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and a decrease for 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and a decrease for 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and a decrease for 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, and a decrease for 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, and a decrease for 30. Row 43, we are going to do 3 single crochets, a 1 decrease. Repeat that all the way around for a total of 24. 1, 2, 3, and a decrease for 4. 5, 6, 7, and a decrease for 8, 9, 10, 11, and a decrease for 12, 13, 14, 15, and a decrease for 16, 17, 18, 19, and a decrease for 20, 21, 22, 23, and a decrease for 24. Okay, we only have about 3 more rows left, so if you haven't done any stuffing at all, we need to get some of that done now. So grab some stuffing. And I'm going to start by putting little bits down into the feet. I might use my scissors on this one just to get them down there. And I'm using my palm of my hand to keep those feet flat and kind of pushing the stuffing out to the sides to give him a bit of a shape to his foot. You do a little bit on the other side. Just kind of shape them feet. Once you get the feet how you want them, you're just going to firmly stuff the leg. You want to kind of make a smooth transition from the foot to the leg if you can. And then once you get past the leg, you can start stuffing it a little less firm. It doesn't have to be too firm in the tummy. And then when you get to the head, you want to start stuffing it firm again and kind of out to the sides. You want to kind of puff the cheeks and the sides of the head out. I'm only going to be putting a little bit in, and then I will stuff the rest of the head off camera as I go, just so it's a little easier for me to keep it in the camera view. All right, so I'm going to stop there. You stop wherever you feel comfortable. We only have 3 rows left, so I'll leave that up to you. All right, so once you have them stuffed to where you want it, let's insert our hook back in. And for row 44, we are going to do 2 single crochets, 1 decrease, repeat that all the way around for a total of 18. So 1, 2, and a decrease for 3. 4, 5, and a decrease for 6, 7, 8, and a decrease for 9, 10, 11, and a decrease for 12. I keep catching the stuffing. 13, 14, and a decrease for 15, 16, 17, and a decrease for 18. Row 45, we are going to do a 1 single crochet, 1 decrease, repeat that all the way around for a total of 12. 1, and a decrease for 2, 3, and a decrease for 4, 5, and a decrease for 6, 7, and a decrease, oh, what happened there? Decrease for 8, 9, and a decrease for 10, 11, and a decrease for 12. Now I'm going to add some stuffing off camera here. If you need to add a little bit more, do that now, and I will join you back in a couple seconds. Okay, so I have mine fairly firm. See, if I push on it, it does not go in. But make sure when you are stuffing that you're not doing it so tight that you open up all these stitches, especially around the neck area. All right, let's get our hook back in. And for row 46, we are going to do 6 decreases all the way around, and do your best not to catch the stuffing, or you're going to have quite a job afterwards trying to get that all off. So 1 decrease, 2 decreases, 3 decreases, 4 decreases, 5 decreases, and 6 decreases. Oops, boy, I have a mess up here. And then you're just going to slip stitch into the next stitch and tie that off. leaving yourself a little bit of a tail. So we can sew that on, or sorry, close that up. All right, so now let's weave our tail on. And you're just going to go in and out of the top loop all the way around. And if you happen to be making this with plush yarn, I would suggest doing halfway around, pulling it tight, and then pulling the other half tight. And then that way there is less chance of you breaking your string. And then once you pull that tight, you're just going to tie a knot in one of the next stitches. And then you'll just hide that out the back somewhere. I try and go down the center. Usually I would go inside the stuffing, but because the stuffing I have now is so strange, I'm just going to go through his hair line there. Give that a cut. And then we'll do these arm strings. I probably should switch to my metal hook, or I'm going to end up breaking that one. Okay, so thread on one of your arm strings. It doesn't matter which one. We're going to do them both the same. And you're going to put your needle down in the hole where your last stitch was when you join the arms. And then you're going to come out the back around the neck in the center somewhere. Then you're going to thread on your other arm and do this exact same thing. So just where your last stitch was, go down into that hole and then come out where your other string came out. Now keep track about which string is which, and you're going to give that one tie. So if the string started on one side, it's going to end up on the other side. Then you're going to wrap it around the neck, flip your little guy over, and then you're just going to pull those, and you're going to bring these knots in and the arms forward a little bit. So wherever you feel is the right spot for you. So I'm happy there. So now I'm just going to continue tying them so they're secure. Remember, they will relax a little bit. And then we'll thread those back on. And we'll put them out the back somewhere. So back into that same hole they came out of. Try and catch a little bit of stuffing and then come out somewhere in the back. And we'll cut those ends off. Give that a little swipe if you need to, so you don't see that white yarn. Alright, now we're going to do the ears, so grab your skin color, or whichever color you're using, and this time you will have to make a knot with a loop on the end, so you're going to fold your yarn over. Oh, leave a little bit of a tail. Fold your yarn over, wrap it around your finger, bring it down and through, grab that loop, and then just slide that knot up. You want your loop to be just a little bit bigger than your hook. You're going to insert your hook, grab your yarn, and chain 1. Now you're going to do 1 single crochet. Then you're going to do 3 half double crochets. So a half double crochet is exactly the same as a single, only you yarn over first. Go in the loop, grab your yarn and pull up, and then you pull your yarn through all 3 loops. So that's 1, 2, 3 half double crochets. And now you're going to do 2 double crochets. So you're going to yarn over, you're going to go in your loop, grab your yarn and pull up, grab your yarn, go through the first 2 loops, grab your yarn and go through the last 2 loops. So that's 1, need 1 more. That's 2. And then we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to slip stitch back down in that loop, and that'll give us a bit of a point on our ear. And then we're just going to tie off, leaving some tail to attach our ears. And I'm just going to put this in again, this exact same clip, so just keep on watching for the second ear. Alright, now we're going to do the ears, so grab your skin color, or whichever color you're using, and this time you will have to make a knot with a loop on the end, so you're going to fold your yarn over, leave a little bit of a tail, fold your yarn over, wrap it around your finger, bring it down and through, grab that loop, and then just slide that knot up. You want your loop to be just a little bit bigger than your hook. You're going to insert your hook, grab your yarn, and chain 1. Now you're going to do 1 single crochet. Then you're going to do 3 half double crochets. So a half double crochet is exactly the same as a single, only you yarn over first. Go in the loop, grab your yarn and pull up, and then you pull your yarn through all 3 loops. So that's 1, 2, 3 half double crochets. And now you're going to do 2 double crochets. So you're going to yarn over, you're going to go in your loop, grab your yarn and pull up, grab your yarn, go through the first 2 loops, grab your yarn and go through the last 2 loops. So that's 1, need 1 more. That's 2. And then we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to slip stitch back down in that loop, and that'll give us a bit of a point on our ear. And then we're just going to tie off, leaving some tail to attach our ears. Okay, now we're going to attach the ears. So you're going to start in the same row that you attached your eyes, and you're going to count 5 holes. So the first hole, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you're going to stick your pin in that 5th hole, and then you're going to do the same thing on the other side. That hole right behind the eye, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and stick your pin in that hole. Just have a check to see that they seem even to you. If not, just adjust them 1 back, and I think that's good enough for me. So grab your ears, and you want to make sure that the point is at the top and your strings are towards the head, depending on which ear. So I'm going to be doing this ear first. So you're going to thread your top string on, And we're just going to go behind that pin and around that stitch up where you pinned. Pull your ear up nice and tight. Then you're going to go through the whole of the ear. You're going to go down one row and around a stitch. And then you're just going to go in the first stitch of your ear. And then you're going to tie your two tails together, nice and tight. Thread your other tail on. Then you're going to go back down close to the ear and then out the back center, kind of even with your ears. Leave those strings for now and grab your second ear. Make sure you're going to put it on the right way. You want the tip up at the top and you want the top strings facing the head. And thread that end on. And same thing as the other ear, you're going to go one stitch behind your pin, around and up where that pin came out. You're going to go through the ear hole. You're going to go one row down and around. And then you're just going to catch the bottom stitch of the ear and go out to the back. Then you're going to tie those two strings together. Whoops, I went right through my tail. Thread the end on. So you've got both your tails. You're going to go down behind the ear and then come back out where your other strings came out in that same hole. And you're going to loosely tie them one time, keeping track of your ends. So just like this. Wrap them around the head, turn your little man over, and now you can either just tie them or you can do like you did the arms and you can bring them in to give his face a little bit of shape. Careful not to break your strings and pull too hard. I think that's about all it's going to let me do. Then you're going to tie them up. And then you'll just thread those back on and put them into the head somewhere. I think I'm going to use my metal one. Keep forgetting. Just in that same hole and out the back somewhere. give that a trim. If you have yourself a bit of a hole here, you're just going to tuck those stitches around and fix that up. All right, now we're gonna bring the eyes in. So grab your matching skin color and thread that on your needle. Now you're gonna go in somewhere in the center on the same row that you put your eye posts in. And you're gonna come out just on the inside of the eye on that same row. Leave enough string on the one side for tying. You're going to wrap around the eye post, and you're going to go one row down on the inside of the eye. So you went in there. Now you're going to come down here, and you're going to go across and match that on the other side. So you're in the same row on the inside bottom of the eye. And you're going to go around this post. And you're going to go one row up, so you're matching your first stitch on the inside of the eye in that same row, and you're going to come up out where you started. Now you're going to tie that once. And then you're going to tighten the string and kind of push down on the eyes and bring them together at the same time. Be careful not to bring them too close. You don't want them to look cross-eyed. That's probably more than enough. That might be too much. And I'm going to tie it loosely and slowly tighten it as I go. And we'll thread those ends back on. And we'll go in that same hole that we started and out the back somewhere. Pull that tight. You may have to smush the stitches around a bit. Give it a cut. All right, now we're going to do the little eye accent. So grab your white or whatever color you're making them and thread that on your needle. And you're going to start by going on the inside top of the eye on one side and coming out on the matching inside top stitch in the same row. And this time you're going to make it so you have about half your yarn on each side. And you're just going to come down and you're going to go into, well, it should be the same row as your post when you added your eye. So I am just down one row. And I'm going to come out in the center somewhere. And you want to pull that loosely because you don't want to accidentally make that slide under your eye. And then you're going to do the same thing on the other string. Thread it. And you're going to come down here one row to match the other side. And you're going to come up and out where your other thread ended. And then loosely pull that. And if you're happy with how they are, you're just going to give them a light tie and then slowly tighten as you go. So nice light one. Then a little tighter until you have it nice and secure. Then you put those ends back on and you will put them out the back. in that same hole where your knot is. And you want to be very gentle doing this part because you don't want to pull those whites through. So I turn it over and I just kind of watch. Then as soon as I've got that knot through, I stop pulling. Then I'm just going to fix these stitches a bit. And when I cut this end, I'm not going to pull because I don't want to slide those white parts under the eye. It looks okay still. And then I'm just going to swoop that out and away from the outside. Alright, I'm going to do the eyebrows, so I'm grabbing a scrap of black. We'll thread that on our needle. And just like we did the whites of the eyes, I'm going to start here at the top of the eyes, and I'm going to go up 2 rows. So 1, 2, and I'm going to go in that hole, and I'm going to match that on this side. 1, 2. So about right there. Try and grab a chunk of stuffing there so you don't see a black line. You want to get enough on both sides. And I think I'm just going to do 1 strand this time. I'm going to count over 4 holes and go down. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then down. Then I'm going to come up in the middle somewhere. I don't want to pull this too tight right now. Then I'm going to do the same thing with the other side. So counting the stitch we're in, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1 hole down or row down, and then come out where I started. And you can just double check if I think they'll be okay. And if you're happy with the evenness, then you're just going to tie those again, just like you did the whites of the eyes, loosely and then a little tighter as you go. Twice is enough this time. Then you're going to thread that end back on. And then take that out the back. And again, you want to be gentle with this one because you don't want to pull your eyebrows. You just kind of watch what's happening. And then you're going to fix that hole if you need to. And then just gently cut this again. And swipe that black away. And now we're going to do the nose. So what I like to do is grab a pin to find the center. So I'm starting at where I put my eye post in. I'm going to go down 2 rows. 1, 2, and that's where my nose is going to be. So just find your center. I can't decide which is center, the hole or I think the hole. And you're either going to go 1 hole over or 2 holes over to make your nose. So if you want a wide nose, you're going to be 2 holes. If you want a narrow nose, you're going to be 1 hole over. And I think I've been doing 2 on every one, so let's keep with that. So come down anywhere below and come up in 1 or 2 holes. So I'm at 2. Take most of your string through. You'll need a little bit for tying and putting out the back. And then I gotta go 2 holes on this side of the pin. And then now I'm just gonna go around and around till my nose is the size I want it. So usually I go about 5 or 6 times around, just so there's a little bump there. And I always make sure that I'm guiding the thread. So if I go out up the top, I go down the top. If I go up the bottom, I come down on the bottom. So this one's on top. It's going to be on, let's go down on the bottom this time. And then just keep going around and around till it's the size you want it. Oh, that one I didn't quite go across. I think I'm going to do one more across the top. So when you're finished with your nose, you're going to come out where you started. And make sure you try and keep the same amount of tension as you're going around, because sometimes it'll squish your nose funny. So we'll just again tie that nice and loose so we're not pulling our stitches. Oh my goodness, I'm on that here. And then we'll pull that, thread that on and pull it through the back. Or the bottom, maybe. Yeah, I think we're going to go at the bottom on this one. So make sure you're in that same hole. And then just somewhere. Cut your thread. All right, let's do the mouth now. So I'm just grabbing some black. And I made my mouth a little on the wide side. So I'm going to be making my mouth kind of even with the outside of both eyes. So just a touch inside. So maybe, I don't know, about there and about there. So I'm going to come up the bottom, and I am 2 rows down from where I did my nose. So I'm going to pull most of my string out because I still need some for tying. And then I'm just going to make sure my mouth is even on the other side. So I think that'll be too short, so I got to go one more. And I'm going to do this twice so I can make a top and a bottom. So there's one line in my mouth. This will be the bottom of my mouth. And I'm going to come out where I started. And I'm going to tie that loosely and then tighter, and then I'm going to put that out the back. So I go in that same hole I came out of. And then just wherever my needle will come out the back side. You want to do this one gently as well, because you don't want to pull your mouth too tight. And cut those strings. Fix that hole. And if you need to, no, it's gone. I could probably, there we go. Now you're going to grab your white for teeth. Now I'm going to put my teeth so they kind of line up with the sides of my nose. So I just want to split this a little bit, and I want to go in the same row that I did all my mouth stitches in. So I want to go in this side, and I want to come out this side, and make sure you're not coming out where the like through the mouth, the black on the mouth. So that's going to be the top of my teeth. You want about the same amount on both sides, and then we're just going to wrap it around this bottom row. I went around twice. I really didn't make this the easiest thing, did I? Turns out cute though, so I guess it's worth it. So that's once. And then for the second one, you want to go down in that same stitch and then out the bottom somewhere to tie. And then you're going to do the exact same thing on the other side. Now my teeth didn't go straight down on that side, so I'm going to make sure I kind of try and get a bit of an angle on this side too. So around that black bottom string. Sorry, I hope you can see this good enough. And then you're going to come up where your other top of your tooth is. Well, definitely at an angle. And then come down and out in that same hole. And I just kind of want to pinch that together. I don't want them to be, I don't really want that space there, but I guess it could be. You might have to play with this a little bit. And you're going to tie it loosely again so you don't pull your teeth funny. And then you'll thread this on and out the back. Just move it out the back, pull that gently. I guess we could have tightened that more. That white out. Alright, so your little guy should look like this now. Your little teeth and face. Alright, now we're going to make the cape, and I'm going to use red so it's a little easier to see. You're going to begin by leaving yourself a bit of a tail because we're going to use the ends as our tie. And you're going to have to make a knot with a loop on the end because we're going to be making a chain. And you want that loop to be just big enough to fit your hook in. So insert your hook, and we're going to chain 16. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Now, starting in the second chain from the hook, we're going to do 15 single crochets across, and make sure you don't let your chain twist. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And then you're going to chain 1 and turn. Now starting in this first stitch, we are going to do 15 half double crochet increases across. So half double crochet increase, 1 and 2. Increase, 3 and 4. Increase, 5 and 6. Increase, 7 and 8. Increase, 9 and 10. Increase, 11 and 12. Increase, 13 and 14. Increase, 15 and 16. Increase, 17 and 18. Increase, 19 and 20. Increase, 21 and 22. Increase, 23 and 24. Increase, 25 and 26. Increase, 27 and 28. And our last increase, 29 and 30. Chain 1 and turn. Row 3, we're going to do 1 half double crochet increase, 28 half double crochets, and then 1 half double crochet increase on the end. So increase, that's 1 and 2 in the same stitch, and then 28 half double crochets across. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, and then our half double crochet increase at the end. Whoop, I didn't have there. So that's 1 and 2 in the same stitch. Chain 1 and turn. In row 4, starting in this first stitch, we are going to do 32 half double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, and then in that last stitch, 32. And then we're going to tie that off, leaving a little bit of a tail for weaving in. So there's the top half of our cape. All right, so let's weave this end in right now. So make sure you're only doing the one on the outside edge, the big long round side that you just tied off. We're leaving this for tying together. And I'm just going to go in and out a few times, maybe. I'm not doing mine very neatly. I'm just doing it for the video to get it done, but you guys can do a little bit better job than me. I'm just going to go twice to get it out of my way. All right, now we're going to do the bottom side of the cape, and just like before, you're going to leave yourself a long tail because it's going to be one of the ties. You're going to make your knot with the loop on the end. We're going to be attaching this piece to the other piece. So what you want to do is make sure you're on the opposite side of your other tail. So I put the tail on this side, and then I'm going to attach my yarn on the opposite side. So I'll insert my hook, grab my little loop, and then I'm going to pull that through, and I'm going to chain 1. And this isn't going to be a stitch, this is just attaching our yarn. And for row 1, we're going to do 15 half double crochets, increases, starting in this first stitch. So increase 1 and 2, increase 3 and 4, increase 5 and 6, increase 7 and 8, increase, 9 and 10, increase, 11 and 12, increase, 13 and 14, increase, 15 and 16, increase, 17 and 18, increase, whoops, 19 and 20, increase, 21 and 22, increase, 23 and 24, increase, 25 and 26, increase, 27 and 28, and our last increase, 29 and 30. And then you're going to chain 1 and turn. Row 2, we're going to do 30 half double crochets all the way across. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, and in that last little stitch, 30. Chain 1 and turn. Row 3, we're going to do 30 half double crochets all the way across. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, and in that last stitch, 30. Then you're going to chain 1 and turn. Row 4, 30 half double crochets all the way across. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, and in that last stitch, tricky one this time, 30. And then you're going to chain 1 and turn. Row 5, 30 half double crochets across. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, and 30. Chain 1 and turn. Row 6, 30 half double crochets all the way across. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, and 30. Chain 1 and turn. Row 7, 30 half double crochets across. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Chain 1 and turn. Row 8, 30 half double crochets across. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Chain 1 and turn. Row 9, 30 half double crochets across. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Chain 1 and turn. Row 10, 30 half double crochets across. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, and 30. Chain 1 and turn. Row 11, 30 half double crochets across. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, and 30. Now this is where I ended mine. Maybe just hold it up to your guy if you're happy with it. If you want to make it a little longer, just keep going 30 half double crochets across. And I didn't think I needed to do a single crochet border, but if you want to, you can sure go ahead and try. I'm just going to tie off and then give that a cut. Whoops. Oh good, didn't cut. well, short end anyway. And then we'll just thread that on. Now if you are giving it a border, you don't have to do this. You can go over top of the tail. And then I'm just gonna weave it in and out right close to the bottom here, because it kind of can go either way. I just want to kind of make it nice and neat right in the middle of all the stitches. So hopefully you won't really be able to tell which side it's on. Except for this part, I guess. And then I'm just going to do one more time so the end is facing the inside and not the outside. Alright, I'll cut that off. And then these two tails will be your ties. Alright, now we're going to do the ruffle, and I did not make this very easy to show what I'm doing. So just bear with me. We're going to go slow, and just pay attention to which way I'm turning my work and which loops I'm going in. So we're going to start by giving ourselves a generous little tail. Make our knot with the loop on the end. Just big enough to put our hook in. And we are going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. For row 1, we are going to do 2 single crochets starting in the second chain from the hook. So 1, 2. Then we're going to chain 1, and we're going to turn our work this way. For row 2, we are going to go in these 2 back loops, and we're going to do 3 single crochets in each one. So in the first back loop, 3 single crochets. 1, 2, 3. And in that second back loop, 3 single crochets. 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to chain 1 and slip stitch in that same loop. And now we're going to turn this way. So we're looking at those front loops. They're going to look like back loops now, but they were just our front loops. So now in these front loops, we are going to do 2 single crochets across. So 1, 2, and we're going to chain 1 and turn. Now row 4, we are going to go in these 2 back loops. So there's our chain 1 and our 2 back loops from our single crochets of the last row, and we're going to do 3 single crochets in each one of those stitches. So 1, 2, 3, and then 3 single crochets in the next one. 1, 2, 3, and then you're going to chain 1 and slip stitch in that next, or same, sorry, loop. Now we're going to remember these are our 2 front loops we're going to turn our work around like this. Now row 5, we're going to go in these front loops. They're going to look like back loops, but they're front loops. And we're going to do 2 single crochets. 1, 2, and we're going to chain 1 and turn this way. Now row 6, we're going to go in these 2 back loops and we're going to do 4 single crochets in each one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then in the next one, 4 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, chain 1, and then slip stitch into that loop. And then you're going to tie off, leaving yourself a bit of a tail. Now hang on to it how you have it, because it's going to look awkward and not like what it's supposed to. So you're going to turn it. So this is the tail you just tied off. This is the tail that you started with. And you want to flip it like this. So your starting tail is on the top. And then slowly kind of sort out your little ruffles. This is going to look a little awkward, but we're going to sew that together when we sew it on. All right, now let's sew this little piece on. And you're going to take your starting tail piece, thread that on. There's really no right way or wrong way. We're just going to attach it the best we can. So I'm going to start by taking this funny little off-centered piece. I'm just going to wrap it down and around, just so that it's kind of the same as the other side. And we're just going to place that in the center of the neck. And we'll go down and around a couple of times on that top row and come up. Basically what we're doing is we're going through the 2 single crochets and we're not touching the ruffles. And if you have a better way of putting it on, do your way. I'm just kind of tacking it down. Just make sure your first row is centered, and then you should be okay. So then I'm just going to go down a row, and I'm going to come back up in that next batch of single crochets, and I'm just going around a stitch or so. I'm going to come back and I'm going to come down and come up through the next set of single crochets in the back, if it'll let me. Down. Oh, I got my needle turned the wrong way. And come back up. Gotta make this string a little longer, looks like. Then I'm going to come up in this last set of single crochets. So I'm just moving the ruffles out of the way and tacking it down. Then when I have my last one, I'm just going to tie it to my ending string. I think I'm going to move that over a little bit. Just so I don't pull that ruffle over, I'm going to put it down and come out around that stitch. So I'm coming out the same hole that my other string is in. And then I'm just going to tie them together and put them out the back. Give them a cut. And then just fold your ruffles back down. It looks a tad crooked, but you can kind of move it over. It looks more crooked in the video than it does when I'm looking at it, so. Okay. And then we'll just tie on his jacket, and whichever way you feel needs to be the right way or the wrong way. It doesn't really matter. It's only going to be if you want to see the 2 rows on this side or the 1 row on this side. And I think I'm going to leave the 1 row on this side. And then you're just going to take your 2 strings that you had left over. Get him centered on there, so that's around his neck. And then all I did was give it a tie and tie it into a bow. Now you can stitch this on if you'd like. I thought leave it removable this way. And then make sure you have enough for tying it if it comes off. But then I'm just going to trim the little bow, and there we go. I'll do a better job of that later. And there's our little vampires, or Dracula. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, please hit the subscribe button and click that bell. Not only does that help me out, but you will also be notified every time I load a new video, as well as any likes, comments, and shares are always appreciated. A huge thank you to all my Super Thanks friends listed at the end of this video. And as always, take care, be safe, and happy crocheting.